Welcome to Acts of Awakening, a series of heartfelt conversations about the roles that we play, the masks that we wear, and the archetypes we embody. Acts of Awakening is a play place to unpack the moments in life that call us to change roles and dissolve masks, individuating us into the next version of ourselves. Together, we will explore the perspective of the cosmic play, inspiring soulful insights and a deeper understanding of the journey of becoming. Host Suri Sawyer is a certified death doula, Reiki healer, yoga guide, ancestral medicine practitioner, and multidimensional psychic. As a walking transmission, equal parts cosmic mirror, soul whisperer, and multidimensional midwife, she embodies the energy of a lucid dream. Soft yet activating, grounded yet infinite. Suri weaves shadow and light without fear. Her essence feels like plant medicine incarnate. Her presence initiates recalibration and an invitation into introspection, remembrance, and sacred revolution. Now here's your host, Suri Sawyer.
Good day, beautiful people. Welcome to Acts of Awakening. I am your host, Suri Sawyer. And today we are bringing a really dear friend of mine and one of my greatest teachers onto the show. Her name is Cami Mitchell. And I'd like to share with you the archetypes that I've chosen to describe her. She was on the show with her son, actually one of the first episodes that we did here. So some of you may remember her from that experience with Andon. And now she's coming on solo, and I'm really excited to deep dive with her. The archetypes that I've chosen to express Cami are the lover and the innocent. And as we go through our conversation today, I think you'll really get to see how she combines those two into a beautiful art form. So, the lover. And as always, as you hear about the archetype, find the aspect of you that is the lover archetype. And if you feel so inclined, give it a name so that you can get to know it better, work with it, and integrate it with your other parts. So here we go. The lover brings warmth, compassion, and deep connection, inspires love, creativity, and harmony. The shadow side of the lover, they can become possessive, obsessive, or overly dependent, risking superficiality or emotional turbulence. The gift that they bring to the world, genuine relationships, inspires passion and creates beauty, promoting unity and emotional richness. The innocent. The innocent archetype radiates optimism, purity, and hope, inspires trust, joy, and love with a sense of wonder. The shadow can be that they are naive, avoid reality, or they can be exploited. They may resist necessary change out of fear of losing their innocence. The gift that it brings to the world reminds us of kindness, goodness, and inspires hope and resilience in challenging times. Hello, Bernadette. So good to see you. All right, guys, here's a little bit about Cami Mitchell. Cami Mitchell is an authenticity coach, a heart mentor, a joy activator, and a recovering good girl turned full-blown soul-sparked rebel. She's been working for 23 years, guiding humans back to their truth through play, shadow work, energy healing, and real, raw love. She left a toxic marriage and religion and the illusion of should to follow her heart, which led her to her brilliant partner, Shelby. She was also on the show a little bit ago. And wildly magical life that she never saw coming. And she is here to help us all love with a lot of joy. Let us bring on our delicious Cami Mitchell.
Hi, Suri.
Hello, sweet darling. I know I already said you look great in pink, babe.
Thanks.
You're welcome. So I'd like to start by sharing a story that was one of the greatest lessons that I ever learned in my entire life. So I was at Cammie's birthday party and we were playing, and I happened to get out of the hot tub. I was naked. I didn't get dressed. And I run downstairs, and her and a few of my friends are sitting on the couch. And I went and I threw myself on their laps and I just laid across their laps. And my head was in your lap, Cam. And I looked up at you and I said, "Oh my God, I didn't even ask if I could come and sit here." And you held my face so sweetly in your hands and you said, "When I'm done holding you, I'll just let you know. But in the meantime, I'm really enjoying this." And it was so simple and so sweet. But in that moment, I was like, oh, I trust you because I trust that you're going to tell me what your needs are and I don't have to guess. And if I'm doing something that's crossing a boundary for you, you're going to let me know in a lot of care. And I can trust that you're taking care of yourself. And that makes it easier for me to take care of myself and also trust a sister, like trust. I'm like, whoa, like it also cracked something in my mind where I was like, oh, I just realized like I really don't trust women, but I think you just opened me up to the potential to be able to do that. And it was one of the most amazing things.
Whoa. I remember that moment, that just having you retell it brings tears to my eyes. I think your experience and my experience is very, very relatable, very similar to many out there, where we're all running around trying to take care of each other, but not taking care of ourselves and not speaking to our needs and the pleasers in us, and like all of those pieces. So I love how you spoke to that you felt safe to honor you because you know I have me, then you fully are able to have you.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't grow up that way. I thought it was my job to take care of everybody. And I remember in one of the relationships, my best friend was a heavy, heavy pleaser, and someone else came to me and said, "Do you think she'll do this?" And I'm like, "Why don't you just go ask her?" And she's like, "Well, she says yes to everything. We never know what's real. We never know if she's like actually being honest with us or if she's just saying yes to every." And that hit me because I'm like, oh my gosh, I say yes when I mean no all the time too. Like, this is a huge learning for me, that I'm training people to believe that I am not honest, that I'm not going to check in with what does Cami need in this moment versus, since you asked, I'll just do it. And so I remember holding your face and asking you to just stay,
Mm-hmm.
that I was receiving so much just by being able to love you and have you receive that. And so when you were like, "Oh my gosh, I didn't ask," and you got panicked and ready to jump off my lap, I'm so grateful that you held still, took a breath, and received the love that I had for you. I'm like, I'm not done. Stay right here. This is yummy.
And it was incredibly yummy. Yes, Kim Princess. Cam, will you share with us a little bit about what the journey was like of becoming aware of that people pleasing? Something that I have found interesting because I have a similar like trajectory in life, heavy people pleasing, and then learning how to express my needs and even knowing what my needs are, right? Like I
Mhm.
realized that a lot of the time I didn't even realize what my needs were. And it felt like for me, it came from this really deep indoctrination that in order to be a good person or a kind person, you needed to be pleasing. And I know for me that as I started to express my needs and speak up more, that I went through this period of time where I really had to get over the hurdle of feeling like I was being mean when I said no
Mhm.
or say what my needs are. So,
Mhm.
will you share a little bit about your journey of
Oh.
becoming more honest?
Oh my goodness. Meanwhile, the hot flashes. So, yay for menopause. Hair's going up. Yes. So let's go back to Cammie's childhood. So in my family setup, there was 8 kids, and there was one major rule, and that was to never be selfish. Selfish meant you said no, or you had your own need and your own back, and you wanted to take care of that. That was interpreted as selfish. And so I was trained out of hearing my own needs really quickly to make sure that everybody else had what they wanted, and made to think. I adopted the belief also that, like, wow, I wanted 2 strawberries and didn't think about all the people here. How selfish of me. Put that back, and shamed all along until I believed the way that it was in my family. So to undo that as an adult, it's been quite a process. And to be totally honest, Sari, and you're fully aware, I still am working, and I will be for the rest of forever. This is a default setting that was ingrained so much in me as a child. And so just learning to redefine selfish, when we started talking about being safe, and in sexuality, I actually started studying that a lot, and the feminine body it's not even capable of going to orgasm until we feel safe. That's a foundational piece. And Mary Magdalene was the one teaching me, that in her books and stuff. And so I'm like, what is this safe thing? And how do I get it? How do I learn it and like apply it to my world? And in my studies of that, how I become a safe place, because so many of us want safety to be delivered from out here. You need to be safe for me to feel safe. In my studies, I actually discovered that wasn't the truth. If I am safe with me, then I'll understand that I'm not with a safe human being, and I'll take myself out of that. And so this deep dive into how do I find safety led me to opening up that if I care for my own needs, and that required me knowing my needs, like what you were saying, Sari, like, what? Wait, I have needs, but I thought everybody else had those. Oh my gosh.
I
It's
do
a new day. Yeah. Writing this spider, my needs in the circle, and then taking it out. Like, I just sat there for hours. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what I need. It took a process. But eventually I broke it down into, what does my physical body need? What does my spiritual body need? My sexual body, my emotional body, my mental body, my social body. Oh my gosh, I have all these bodies and I have all these needs because I'm human too. So starting to work out all of these needs that I have, and then moving into, and I'm responsible for these needs to be met. So let's say I need touch, which my love language is touch, feel. And so I need touch on a regular basis. And if I don't get it from a lover or a spouse or a best friend, then taking care of my needs in that I'm going to book a massage because I need human touch. And I'm not getting it from these different places, or calling someone and say, would you just mind wrapping me up today? And can I lay in your lap? And will you play with my hair? Learning to ask for what I needed, and then being willing to go to that extent of getting that need met. That's how I become a safe place for me, and therefore for other people. And when I started shifting that, I started hearing the feedback. Cami, I feel so safe. I feel so at home in your energy. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I can be a safe place for you because I'm not pleasing you. I'm taking care of my own needs. And then I have that to offer. It's giving permission to be human, that I have needs, accepting that, and loving that I have those needs, loving myself enough with compassion to meet those needs and take care of them, and no longer being the victim of, well, it's your fault. I have all these needs and you're not meeting them. And that whole game had to shift. So there's some little bullet points as to how how I got a little bit better, a little healthier.
Something that stands out is just building self-trust.
Mm-hmm.
I think that people-pleasing tendency, often we go into like deep self-abandonment and self-betrayal because we're trying to meet other people's needs a lot. And coming back from self-abandonment and being like, I'm here, these are my needs. It's okay for me to take care of them. It's okay for me to ask. So I'm really hearing that. I also want to dive into creating like safety and sexuality as well. I think that's a really important aspect, especially for us as women, to be able to have that, to create that.
Mm-hmm.
And the foundation of it is actually self-trust. When I trust myself, like you said, then I can trust when I'm getting a feeling that someone is not safe for me to be around. And it has nothing really to do with them. Oh, I'm just feeling like this is not a good place for me to be, or a person for me to create a deep connection with. And I trust my instincts and I trust myself. I also trust that I can do what is required to keep myself in safe situations and with safe people. So I find that to be like a brilliant secret to life in general. Yeah. Oh, there was another thought in there, but it slipped away. Will you share a little bit about your journey? Because that's part of your journey, witnessing you over like the last 10 years. Hi, Jennifer Rose. One of the most incredible things that I've witnessed in you is like what I would consider a sexual awakening and coming into your body in this really incredible way. And then also being a teacher on my path to help me get over some of the hurdles that I had from a similar upbringing to you. So how did you arrive where you are? Like you've led tantric workshops, you've led tantric retreats, and I can only imagine that you never saw that coming.
Well said. Well said. If my little perfect goody two shoes Mormon self, who had never tasted coffee, caffeine, never swore, never wore a bikini, yeah, if she could see me now, I think she would implode. And so I love her, that younger version of me, so much, and she would never understand how I got here in this moment, in love with a woman, outside of the church, like so many different pieces. Wow, with sexuality, there was so much shame growing up, and with religion, and should and shouldn'ts. And I waited. I never had sex with anyone until I was 24. I married my husband. I was so excited. I'm like, yeah, I get to finally have sex. This is going to be so amazing. And was met with total shame, total shutdown. And I didn't understand. So like through that whole process, coming into a relationship with Shelby, I'm like, I don't want that. I know I don't. There's so much shame that we hold within our sexual body and our sexual part, like our hips and our belly, like all of these sexual pieces that are coming that are unsafe. We've felt unsafe. We felt shamed. Like what you were talking about just a minute ago, Suri, when I am taking care of my own needs in the bedroom, I'm able to speak and say, I don't like that. I do like this. More of that. Okay, no, not feeling it over here. And that stuff changes every minute. And so what I was taught was like, you just do it. You don't speak about what you need. You don't speak up for yourself. If like all of those different ways of being that I left behind, learning how to ask, and not just in the sexual experiences, in all of the fields. But wow, what a vulnerable experience in making love, saying, can we stop for a second? Like currently, right now, menopause, like in the middle of making love, like, okay, I'm having a hot flash. Something that I loved 1 second ago, right now feels horrible. I don't want anybody's skin on mine. I am so hot. I'm 104 degrees, like, I can't breathe. Being willing to honor the body in the moment. That's how, if I can meet my needs like that, moment to moment. And it's crazy, Suri, because I feel like this huge battle of all of 50 years of Cami, who loves touch and loves to have someone's skin on hers. But in this moment, I don't. And my body's like, no, not right now. And my mind's like, but you love that. Stop it. Just endure. Just hang in there. Don't tell anybody. It'll go away in a few minutes. And if I force myself to stay and not speak my truth, I'm no longer a safe place for me. And orgasm is not an option in the sexual realm. And joy isn't an option in my emotional realm. Because I'm shutting myself down. I'm not believing the self-trust that you're referring to. I'm not trusting my body. I'm like, no, like my body, get over it and just push through. That's shame. Oh my gosh. So my journey in allowing myself to speak up for what's needed, even to something as simple as making sounds of pleasure, like that was mortifying to the younger version of Cami. And to
I'm
release.
trying to imagine you just having silent sex. It doesn't correlate with the version of you that I know now, but I can.
Because it's not possible. My body loves to make noises, and it doesn't have to be sexual. Just like on a roller coaster, or when I'm excited about a conversation, I love to get involved with sounds. And so I remember being a pillow being put over my face and saying, like, be quiet, the kids will hear.
Whoa,
In my
that's
marriage.
extreme.
I'm like, oh my gosh, what's wrong with me? Why does my body just want to sound this whole thing out? Versus now, like there's nothing that stops us. And my daughter at the very beginning of Shelby's and my relationship put the Snapchat. She recorded it, sent it to all the siblings, and she's like, moms are at it again. Listen to this. I would have died. The previous version of me would have died. And this time I just celebrated. I'm like, yeah, that's your mama having so much joy and so much pleasure in my body. You can hear it. Like,
and also, can you send me that recording too? Like, I'm going to need to listen to that later.
Done. Sold for Surrey. Oh my gosh. The pleasure. Begetting pleasure.
Something that I really appreciate about witnessing you, and this is also another lesson that you have taught me just by demonstrating it, not by any other means really, is the way you receive when someone else shares a need. And it's the same with Shelby. It's the same with like the whole gang, where it's like, oh, I actually don't want that right now. And everyone's like, okay, great. Thanks for speaking your needs. Like, even if it's really inconvenient for everyone in the room, everyone's like, yeah, like not ideal, but we're so proud of you. Okay, let's figure this out. And I think that's also a really big factor in us being able, also in the sexual realm, is how is my truth going to be received? Is it dangerous for me to speak right now? Is it, will it be received well? Am I going to get in trouble? Am I going to get punished? Am I going to disappoint someone if I say what it is that I want or don't want or like or don't like?
This is so fascinating, Suri, and that's real. It's either up taken and it lands, and is accepted or completely shunned and shamed, and people get embarrassed. All of that is true. I would invite us to the even core uh invitation. I'll just got the core invitation there. Even more so than you speaking your truth and it not landing out here. Even worse than that is how you treat yourself in here.
Mhm.
When we say we're afraid of not being accepted, the bigger part of the unacceptance is in here. Is what I do to myself walking away from that situation. I should never have said that. What was I thinking? Oh my gosh, I look like such a loser. I'm the one that is beating me up even more so than anyone else. And like I have paid attention because my core wound is shame,
Mhm.
which is fun because the gift is innocence,
Mhm.
which look at the archetype, and humor, being able to be playful with that. So with that, I've learned as a kid, I learned to read people's even faces, even if they turned their chin and went, like I was like, oh no, they're disappointed in me. I've let them down. I'm not the perfect child. When I went to my mom and said, I'm leaving religion, my marriage is over, and I'm falling in love with a woman, the response I got was, but you're our lighthouse. You can't do this to our whole family. So
Mhm.
that kind of pressure coming throughout my whole childhood in this space of, oh my gosh, I have to make sure that nobody's disappointed in me. I
Mhm.
want everybody to like and to love me. The bigger thing around that, sir, that I've found is I didn't accept those pieces of me, and yet I wanted you to.
Mhm.
And so, whoa, Cam, bring it back. Like, if I can love my shamed little Cammy and meet her with compassion instead of with shame,
Mhm.
then if I do give my truth to a group of people and it isn't accepted, I'll still be okay. I can handle that. Like, oh, that doesn't jive with you guys? No problem, because it jives with me.
Right.
Right? But if I'm the one that's taking the, the beating from myself, then it's a secondary. You're
Mhm.
beating me up and I'm going to go walk away beating myself up. So we can shift that, and that's that self-love, self-trust, self-compassion. The real juice is, am I willing to love myself when I disappoint others?
Mhm.
When it seems that I have hurt someone's feelings? When it seems like I've messed it up, I haven't done it right, am I willing to love myself and bring me in and be a safe place for me in that moment? That is like, oh my gosh, so stretchy, but that's
Mm.
the real deal.
It's such an interesting process too, because it's like a natural filtration system when we learn to operate better this way. Because if you speak your needs and then you're constantly disappointing a certain person or a group of people, those ain't your people. It's
Yes.
easy. You're just like,
Yes.
oh, okay, like, this is not jiving. Likewise, you're speaking your needs, you're expressing, you're receiving the needs of others, you're working through these things, and then those relationships flourish, and you find your tribe this way, right?
Mhm. Exactly. I
Mhm.
I'm rem I want to throw in another piece here, sorry, and this might be helpful for all of the pleasers out there. My default setting is pleaser. So when someone comes up and asks me for something, my default will jump out of my mouth. Of course. Yes, I'm here. What do you need? I've I'm learning to dial that back. And if I can say, thank you for asking, I'll be with that and I'll get right back with you. If I can turn and walk away from their energy, it gives me enough time to go, I don't want to do that. But if I don't turn away from their energy and give myself that space,
Mhm.
then my automatic default setting, of course I'm going to do that. And then I'm like inside going, oh my gosh, I did not want to do that. Now I've committed. So just giving myself that space, that breath, like, oh, thank you so much for asking. I'll get right back to you. That has really helped me find my truth and stop lying by saying yes when I haven't meant it. And so that might be helpful to our listeners. I know it's something that's helping me.
It's important to take a break, to like not cut off the energy, but just like really hold on. I really have to do a check-in with myself. And when I'm still in your energy field, it's a little bit difficult for me to do that. So I need to really have my own thing and take a minute. And we don't have to respond always right away, right?
Right.
And that's another beautiful need to express is like, you know what? I don't know yet. Can I get back to you?
Mm.
Know yet. I had an encounter a couple weeks ago. Somebody was asking me, I was supposed to host open mic night, but then I made plans and then my plans fell through and someone else was hosting open mic night. And he was like, well, do you want to run it tonight, sir? And I was like, I don't really know. And then he's like, you really don't know if you want to or you don't want to? Like, do you want a night off? Do you want to like do the last one before you leave for the States? Like where? And I was just like, I really don't know. And what I need right now is for you to stop asking me. And giving myself that spaciousness actually like helped everything come full circle for me.
That it's huge because the pleaser jumps forward like, oh, obviously you need this. And I have to give it to you.
I have to give it to you.
Yeah, we have this savior complex that, oh my gosh, someone has a need and I've got to fill it. Where, and I love this about you. Your way to diplomatically drop something like, and stop asking me because I need space to think about it. Like, you know that you need that and you speak to it. And that I love watching you do that. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have a lot to learn. That is incredible to me. I love that about you, Suri.
Thank you, babe. Thank you for seeing me. Thanks for supporting me. Thanks for teaching me along the way. All right. So I wanted to share this story and ask you also, okay, so I've got two questions. The first question is, in this journey of leaving the religion, exploring more of identifying your needs, speaking your needs, and opening up to like the beautiful world of pleasure and tantra and delight that kind of was closed off before. How have you seen that affect your children? Because when I interact with your children, sometimes I feel bad for them because I'm like, I'm so sorry, you guys, because they're in their 20s. I'm like, it's going to take you years to find someone that's at your level of like consent, conversations, expressing needs. And sometimes I look at them and I'm like, how you doing dating? And I remember one of your children, literally, they were like, it's rough. Like they are all really immature in comparison to us. So I'm curious how you've seen that affect your kids as they've grown up.
Oh my goodness gracious. And it's been fun. Just even the one shift of, in religion, the understanding is that this body, you don't own it. You don't get to interact with it. That's a sin, versus how we believe now, like that's your body. Get to know it, love it. Like the better you know it, the more you can communicate that to your lover and have them like join in that deliciousness. A funny story is when Shelby and I first were together, we're like, both of us having just come out of religion, never explored ourselves, and now we're with a woman. And both of us are like, I don't even know my own body, let alone another girl's body. Like we're just like, do you know? I don't either. What should we? So we literally said, let's Google it.
What kind of search results did you get?
You will not believe how unhelpful Google was. It was like, when two women have sex, we don't know really how to define what that is, but you'll know when you've had it.
Okay.
And so we're like, we're kind of left on our own. Let's just explore. Here we go. So yeah, coming from absolutely not knowing anything to obviously it's something I had and wanted to study and be good at. The woman's body, oh my gosh, 8,000 nerve endings in the clitoris. The only job of the clitoris is pleasure. There's nothing like it in the man's or woman's body other than that. Like, what? Its only job is pleasure. So I'm like, we've been missing out. Like, oh my gosh, pleasure is like where it's at. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Let's explore. Let's find out. Let's figure this beautiful body, this gift of magic. What does it have in store for us? And wrapping in some of the pieces that we've been talking about, there's a lot of shame that is stored in the sexual regions, which we've been talking about. And so when you're in the middle of making love and something is painful, there is most likely shame hidden in that part of your body. And because I've learned how to voice what comes up in the middle and not just push past it and like, we'll just ignore that and pretend I'm in pleasure and fake it till you. No, nothing like that. Being in the present moment with what's coming up. When we talk about intimacy, into me, you see, and that's into all of me, all of the different bodies that I am. And it's in this very moment that pain is coming up. And that pain is something that I speak to and go, oh my gosh, like that is very painful. And everything slows down. We go to our breath work. We go to presence. We go, and even like being a witness of what is coming up. And it is crazy. And sorry, I know you're involved in all this. You understand, you get it, and you do it too. So in that moment where we were just totally passionate and having fun and climbing the foreplay train.
Climbing the foreplay train. I know that train.
Just go with me. And you call like, cut, stop, hold still. Let's just breathe. And that ick, that pain and that shame and that ick feeling, like as we're being with it and breathing and presencing, all of a sudden I'm in tears and memories are popping up, movies, different feels from younger me. And my lover's just holding me and wiping the tears off my face. Talk about making love and letting go of anything that's not that. And so anything that doesn't bring us closer is not love. And so if I was to not speak to that and just force myself, which we control ourselves all the time. We forget our needs all the time when we don't pay attention and we don't even know we have a need. When we're willing to slow down and say, whoa, something's coming up for me, and that need gets met, I'm safe for me. And then I'm safe for my lover. I'm safe for my kids. I'm safe for the people that I'm running around like next to at the store, just in an energy field. So how has it, your question, how has it affected the kids? Shelby has 6 kids. I have 3, 9 between us. And
the Gady bunch.
The fucking Fosters, man. their understanding of pleasure and of sexuality and of their own bodies, sorry, you nailed it. Like, they really do have a hard time dating people that are their age and finding someone who will meet them in this delicious space where it's not just two bodies. Like, this is a whole entire spiritual and sexual, meaningful, intimate, vulnerable, like, let's let our souls dance with these human forms. And how much pleasure can I handle? That is not something a pleaser ever asks and knows the answer to. They know how to deliver and to give, then to bring it back and to understand how to receive and how to breathe in the love and the pleasure and the joy and the smiles that are available to us all the time. We miss that when we're running around trying to take care of everything that's not ours to take care of. So coming back to my own lane, it's a journey, but my kids have definitely been witness of this journey and owning their own bodies and their own pleasure, learning how to receive and be present in the moment. Like, my kids are, woo! They're some of my best friends because of that. Like, 5 minutes before our call, my youngest, he texts, he's like, Mom, let's talk about the healthy version of pride. How can I have pride in myself, but have it be healthy instead of about comparison and better than, less than? What's a different way to work with that? I mean, I'm like, yeah, my kids are teaching me constantly, and finding the answer, that the radical self-acceptance, when I can accept all of me, that's all of my needs. That's huge. That's something that the pleaser doesn't know how to do yet.
Right.
And so when we can, then we go, oh my gosh, I'm just in awe of who I am. I'm willing to accept myself and the courage that I have just to be. I add value and contribution just by being me, not because I'm doing anything. And bringing that into, like, that, when we are a safe place like that, then two lovers can go anywhere with that and find all sorts of goodness.
And do you have an answer on the pride thing?
Yes, I do. Let me see if I'll paraphrase. So about the healthy pride is, pride in self then becomes appreciation for contribution, your courage, your respect, your willingness. It dissolves all comparison. A quiet confidence born from self-acceptance, the courage to live truthfully, contribute meaningfully, and trust that one's existence itself has value. And so I'm instead of having pride in myself, I'll be peaceful with myself. And it takes it from the vertical relationship and puts it on the horizontal relationship that we've studied in the book, Courage to be Disliked, which all of us pleasers, pick that book up.
Pleasers. Let's start a book. The people pleasers. I loved what Lynn said here. She said they have to call the Coda ambulance for me from time to time.
What does that mean?
Codependent Anonymous.
Oh, shoot.
It's like AA for codependent.
Yes. We get it.
Yeah. And I've been there too, Lynn. Okay. The next thing that I wanted to bring forward, you mentioned it briefly, but I think it's so wildly important. The way our bodies store memory and shame, especially in our reproductive organs. And like, just the same way that you can get like a knot in your shoulder, the very same thing happens in our reproductive organs. And we store a lot of information there, a lot of it being trauma The clock is going. Um, one moment. It's gonna count. Okay, I think we're done. So the way our bodies are storing that information, and like you were saying, that sometimes in an encounter there will suddenly be pain, and it's like, wait a second, there's something there, and then memories come up in your mind's eye that is like the release or the movement of that content. And I know for me, I had been in a marriage and I left the marriage, and then I needed to go on an exploration because I realized I was like, I'm super disconnected from my sexuality. I need to do something. And I started studying with this beautiful couple in San Francisco, and they would do tantric release with me. And it was so fascinating. Like, it wasn't a sexual nature, but it was just like a yoni massage. And it was wild. Like, she would push on a part inside my womb, and I could see in my like movies, very clear movies of things that occurred. And some of them sexual in nature, but a lot of what was getting cleared was actually things that I subconsciously took on about what it meant to be a woman. And one of the visions that came up when I was in this process, I was standing in the hallway of my great grandmother's house. Must have been like 2 or 3. I was very little. And I remember looking behind me at this china cabinet where my grandma had all these clowns. And my great grandmother was in this room on her deathbed, basically, Nana. So in this house, all at once, it was great grandma, grandmother, and my mother. And there was this really palpable feeling of like, to be a woman means that you're very self-sacrificing, and that you're here for the others. So serve them first. And you come way last. And that moment of being in that house with this lineage of women, and that being something that they had all participated in for a lot of their lives, it was like, boom. And then that got basically trapped in my own womb. And so when she was pushing around on some of the feelings in there, that memory came up, and I'm like, I don't have an actual memory of that, but obviously that moment was incredibly impactful to my existence and how I've been operating as a woman, along with other things, and feeling like the electrical current of some of the shame, like moving out my legs and out the bottoms of my feet. Like, it's so powerful to work with this part of our body in a loving way, and to, just like you would massage a knot in your shoulder, like, pay attention to this part of us. So I'd love to hear more from you about that process as well.
Oh my gosh, sorry. This is so fascinating to me, because that pain, like so Shelby will just hold that part of my body that's in pain, and then like the tears, the memories, all of that, the crying, the breathing, and then that pain literally dissolves and flips and becomes pleasurable.
Mm-hmm.
And so all of us can, even self-exploration, or if you have other people who meet you in this space, to find and witness these places, because like what you said, Suri, it's not even a physical memory that happened. It was a generational piece that had been passed down. And Suri's psychic and has all these gifts and is delicious that way. The normal human, all the rest of us, like, we'll have it portrayed a little bit different, but you can ask Suri to interpret, which I love and appreciate her for. She gives me the visuals of what I can feel in my body. I'm so appreciative of your gifts, Suri, and what you've gone through in order to learn about your skill set and your gifts and your intuition. So just being willing to slow down when you can on purpose go after it, or just be paying attention to when they come up normally, and slowing everything down, being with it. It is crazy how many things are stored in the belly, in the hips. I remember I got in so much trouble. I worked for a company for the chronically ill, and this one lady is like, I have these chronic pains in my hips. And I'm like, oh, girl, it's all around sexuality. Like, let's just put on some music and start wiggling your hips. They came down to me, Cammie, you are not a sexual counselor. You don't have a therapist. You don't have a license. I'm like, but it's okay. Okay, fine. So that's like that's literally why I created Sextasy. So I could I could be my own boss to help people find the sexual shame that we're holding in our hips, in our womb, in our sacred spaces. It's interesting because our core wounds are held in pain in our body, and also it comes through with pleasure.
Mm-hmm.
Both. And so just exploring, like, it's the pendulum, just exploring the pain and the pleasure scales. If we'll be with those pieces, we don't have to go to the trigger in the painful. We have plenty of triggers in receiving the pleasure,
Mm-hmm.
just as many. And so turning the pain into pleasure requires presence, breath, sound.
Mm-hmm.
That movement, sound, and breath, that as you're with it, like, whoa, what did I just find? Like, if this could set me free, if I could release this trauma, all that these, Michael Singer calls them samskaras,
Mm-hmm.
when emotions get trapped in our body and it just loops on itself. It doesn't want to stay there. It wasn't meant to stay there. But all it needs is for us to witness it.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what those pieces of you, Suri, were witnessed by another and by yourself. And then it can release. And
Mm-hmm.
that part of our body then turns into pleasure.
Pleasure and pain. Pleasure and pain. They're one and the same, right? What do you think the nature of that is?
It's interesting because, like, when we get nervous and excitement, like afraid and excited, the only difference is a breath.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's it. Like, taking our pain, breathing with it, turns it into the pleasure. Are we willing to receive ourselves both, like, at all these pieces? Am I willing to receive the Cammie that's in pain and breathe with her? Because on the other side is the opposite, which is the Cammie that's in pleasure, and breathing with her. Because oftentimes we have a thermostat, like, I can handle this much pleasure on the top and on the bottom, and as long as I stay right here within this realm, I'm okay. But we're here to, like, blow that whole scale. Like, yeah, jump out of that little box. How much pleasure can I handle? How much presence can I bring to myself and the pain that I'm experiencing in my body? Can I love myself right there? I asked my mom yesterday, I said, Mom, do you have a preference on emotional pain or physical pain?
Wow.
Isn't that an interesting question?
It
Like,
is.
because they both have such, like, stretchy pieces of it. And I wonder, sorry, do you have a thought? Do you have an answer on that? Do you have a preference on whether you'd rather it be physical or emotional? And then I want to flip it to the pleasure side too. What do you think?
And initially, like right away, I was like, I'd rather have physical pain. Sometimes the emotional pain, it's just, whoa, no. And my core wound is denial. So I can deny that I'm in emotional pain for a really long time, as well as physical pain. But I think as soon as you asked it, I was like, I'd rather have physical pain. Last night I fell off a bike and I think I broke my foot. We'll find out soon. But I would rather have this pain in my foot than mental and emotional pain. And I definitely feel really good mentally and emotionally right now. I'm in a pleasure point. So, like, that's
Whoa.
good.
Whoa.
And you, what's your preference?
It is so interesting because my body is the neurodiverse. My
Mhm.
mind is neurotypical, but my body is neurodiverse. And so like I've been called the princess in the pea because my body cannot handle discomfort. It can't handle pain of any sort. And if that's cold water, if that's hot wax, if that's just like having a sore throat the last couple days. And then I take that, like I do not do well. I do not have a pain tolerance very high. I do not do well with physical pain. But then I look at this last week and I have this convoluted relationship with money that I have worked with and around for years and years and years. And I tend to bring my worth, my shame to the table. And so we had a bill due and we couldn't pay it. We didn't have enough. And the shame that I drop into and just feeling completely unworthy and out of integrity, and what's wrong with me that I can't figure this out. Like, how can I not? I know how to finagle things. When I want something, I can get it. But around money, it has been this dance that I'm like, you're here again. And it's laughable that I even believe that I could be anything less than abundant. But in these moments, I obviously fall into believing that there's complete scarcity is what is. And that defines me. Like I wrestle with this vulnerable piece of me. And in that place, I can't function. I don't want to be around people. I don't want to learn something new. I just want to crawl in a hole.
Mhm.
Any time that I feel worthless, I just want to hide.
Mhm.
And so then taking that emotional pain of just wanting to be anywhere that I'm not versus the physical pain of like I crawl out of my skin because and some people are very good at disassociating when pain's in the body. They can leave. I don't know how to do that. I'm earth. And if it's in my body, it's all I'm focused on. Like when I had a baby in my tummy, I would sit in class and be like, are you kidding me? There's nothing I can hear you teach me because my baby is moving inside me. Like there's nothing else that's taking my focus and my presence. My body is where it's at for me. So that is a tough question for me to be looking at. And I've always tended to say that physical pain is something that I really, really, really get afraid of. And even, oh my gosh, I just remembered the ceremony. I won't say which one that you and I were at. I was in so much physical pain, like so nauseous the whole time that 0% of that experience was delightful to me.
Mhm.
Even if I could mentally and emotionally go places, if my physical body is that heavy, like I don't feel like I can function. So that's going to be my answer right now.
Okay.
The physical is really heavy for me.
I like being on the other side of the spectrum of these things.
Yeah, and you were definitely that. Suri was singing and delighted and helping people clean themselves up, and she was just bringing the sunshine, and I'm like, sorry. I'm so far from where you are right now.
I remember a couple of times looking over at you, and because I was in such a good state mentally and emotionally, I looked at you and it felt confusing. I was like, what's happening to her?
Where are you, Cammie? We're having fun here. I've got the bowl in front of me like I am not having fun. Being nauseous is like the worst for
Yeah.
me. And I sat in that for hours and hours and hours. And so that's just a fascinating, curious question.
I like that one. I have one more thought, and then I would love to also hear how people can find you and reach you.
Hmm.
One of the words that you had used a lot, especially it seemed like it came up every time that you were giving like an antidote to people pleasing. Um, and it was receptivity, it was receiving.
That's some good juice right there. We just did an entire workshop at Yin on Fire this last weekend, and we probably had 70 people in our audience, because there are so many of us who grow up being taught that to give, that's how you contribute. That's a good person. That's a righteous person. That person's going to heaven. So it's taken me a lifetime to flip that script. And at one frequency, I'll just describe it like a kind of a stair or a ladder. At the lower part of the ladder, give and receive are two different things. But as you progress on that ladder and that frequency, you go higher in the frequency, the truth for me now is that they're exactly the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I truly presence in my give, and you fully, let's say Suri is in front of me and I'm just tickling her back, and I'm all there, my attention, my love, my focus, I'm all here giving to Suri. How she can give back to the giver is by fully receiving. If she just takes this deep breath and like, oh my gosh, oh, and she goes, oh, all of a sudden, everything that I'm pouring into you, Suri, in that moment, I don't feel like I'm giving. All of a sudden, I'm receiving.
Mm-hmm.
Because you fully received me, I feel like I'm also fully receiving. What your gift to me is that you're allowing me to love you.
Mm-hmm.
And in that moment, the give and the receive become the exact same thing. And both people are absolutely blessed and fulfilled. Versus a different scenario, if Suri's in front of me and I'm tickling her back and I'm fully present and I'm like, oh, she's going to love this. I'm just wanting to give my love to her. And she's like, hey, so-and-so out there, like, I'm hungry. Would you mind picking me up a coffee? And she doesn't even notice, like, you didn't even notice that I was doing this, or you were like, oh yeah, thanks, Cammie. That was nice. Like, but you're not fully receiving. The giver isn't able to fully give. And the whole cycle gets cut in half.
Mm-hmm.
So the greatest gift and way to give, in my opinion now, this isn't a younger version's opinion of this subject, but the current version for me is that I can't truly give unless I'm fully receiving. Because when I fully receive, the give and receive become the same thing, and everyone who is participating comes out ahead.
Mm-hmm.
So in this workshop, what we had people do is, like, most of the people there are pleasers. So we had one person enter into a group. They've got 5 people around them. They're sitting in the center of 5 people, and they're like, you're looking at me. You're hearing me. Oh my gosh. And they get to speak to what it is that they're needing and they're longing for, which, number one, it's hard for a pleaser to even find the need, let alone speak it. And so they practice. They're like, okay, I would like, and they got to say what they would love to receive. And then they laid down or stood up in the middle, whatever it was that they were receiving, whether it was being witnessed or kind words. I'd love for you guys to speak these words to me. Or I'd love for all of your hands to be just on my body. Or I'd love for everybody to gather around my head and play with my hair. They got to speak to what they were willing to receive
Mhm.
And then for 3 minutes, they had 5 people's attention, love, and awareness on them, and so much. This lady, it was precious. She goes, "I've been here for 2 days working on inner child trauma and yoga for different positions for to release all of these things." And she goes, "And in 3 minutes, I just healed more than I have in 2 days."
Mhm.
Because she was willing to see that she had a need, speak to it, and receive. So she was safe for her for the first time, maybe since childhood. And the more that we receive, the more that we can truly, authentically have it to give. You hear so many pleasers say, "I'm just burnt out, and now I just want to run away and
Mhm.
put my head in the sand," because we've given and overgiven, not from an authentic place, but because we thought that was love, and
Mhm.
it wasn't.
It's not.
It's not.
Yeah. All right. So speak the need, let the need be received, and then you receive based on what you've spoken. So
Yeah.
good. It's a good antidote for life. Cam, where do people find you?
Oh my gosh. Um, we we do have, let's see. I have Facebook, Cami Rhodes Mitchell,
Cammy Rhodes Mitchell.
and Instagram, Camster Dance. And on Instagram, I also have Soul Care, SOULKARE. And then we also have Dance Medicine on Facebook. So there's a
And
couple different ways to grab us.
perfect. Thank you so much for your time today and for all of those that gave your attention to this portal. Thank you for witnessing and observing. And to all the people pleasers out there, may you know your needs, may you speak them, may you find the capacity to create such deep trust in yourself that
Mm.
it's contagious.
Sorry, one
Yes.
last question for you, baby girl. What is something you're longing for right now, currently, in the now moment?
Something I'm longing for in the now moment. It's very simple,
Mhm.
but I am longing for a bubble water. You know how I feel about my bubble
Oh,
water.
Surrey and her bubbles. Yes.
In
Yes,
the
yes,
kitchen right
yes.
now, I got a box of Pummel Moose LaCroix. I'm very much looking forward,
Yes.
very much looking forward to that. And I also, yeah, like a walk around the lake with a good friend. And I think I could make that
Mm,
happen today.
look at that. Like you're just finding that simple. Thank you for tuning in and for being willing to speak that and share that. That is so good. And
It's
as
so
you meet
good.
those, please let us know because I love to hear about that stuff. Like, I'm taking care of me in this way and this way. Thank you for being a safe place for all of us, Suri.
It's a pleasure. Thanks
Mm.
for showing. Thanks for lighting the way. Thanks for guiding the way, Cam. Thank you for your attention, everyone. This has been Suri and Cami. Tuning out.
Mwah, mwah, mwah.